old niggas metamorphed into new lames. Lack of vision for switching into those new lanes. I'm a fool, man, with a fresh start and a long lead. Superior art. All limitations, they shall dearly depart. Progression, I'm just surfing it, even if the shark's lurking it. And niggas hang themselves like ornaments instead of wishing to expand. That's unfortunate, but you know what I'm about. Taking the slickest route, end zone, and shitting on everybody's doubts. So my apologies on behalf of astrology, 'cause I'm a prodigy. My apologies, 'cause I'm a prodigy. So I'll apologize in advance, 'cause I'ma advance faster. Anything I do, I master. Niggas read that orange and blue book and now they think they your master. And then you give them hell, now they think they a pastor. I passed up a lot of shit 'cause niggas was assed up, or assed out rather. Couldn't hold they bladder. Pissing on every fire hydrant they saw fit, instead of locking in with them niggas they ball with. Many unnecessary travels, I'm sure we done all went. But when niggas wanna battle, I switch it up. Clark Kent, I'm like a Kennedy, I'm good at making enemies. Only difference is my future holds the remedy to all things. You focused on the small things, or not at all, I can't call it. You small change, a small change in your life will probably solve things. I'm thinking this ain't really how you saw things at all. So I apologize in advance, 'cause I'm a prodigy, and you are not me. That's why I apologize in advance for my lack of loyalty to peasant ass niggas, 'cause my thoughts are royalty. My present mind frame will change the game forever. Why they dwelling in the...
Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, you won't know. This is the No News, Just Facts podcast. This is episode 107, and this is the first time in a long time I'm doing a podcast that is not live. So this is just a pre-recorded one. I decided I don't want to do a live one tonight, but there's going to be a ton of content coming on my channel in the next, like, maybe 3 days, maybe 3-4 days, maybe. So just stay tuned. You're going to see a lot of things on my channel. Yeah. So today I'm not really doing anything too deep. We're just going to go into what's in the news, what's going on around the internet, things of that nature. So one thing I want to start with is, first of all, hello to the new watchers and or listeners of this podcast. If this is your first time, I do podcasts probably, I want to say, like every week, and I live stream them. Sometimes I'll do a recorded one, if I don't feel like actually getting on live stream. I have a plethora of content on my YouTube channel, reactions, podcasts. I'm trying to devolve into something else. Try to go into other topics, because I don't want to just be doing like, I'll say it like this. I don't want to be just doing, I don't want to just do the right content and leave out the left side. You know what I'm saying? Like the stuff that people don't, that Twitter doesn't talk about, the stuff that YouTube won't talk about. Like, I kind of want to dig into things that pertain to important things that, platforms keep off of their platform because it's either too serious or they don't want it on their platform. Things that should be talked about, things of that nature. I'm going to start getting into that a little bit more, and that starts tonight because there is something that I do want to get into that I saw on Twitter as far as a certain interview that was done with a person. I'll get to it when the time is right. So first, we're going to be talking about the police officer. Let me get to it. Let me see where it's at. The police officer that got caught. The police officer that got caught, basically taking a woman into the back of his car. And as you can see, it's right there. I don't know why I don't have the sound up for this. Let's see here. Get the sound going. Not that it really matters. Just start it all over again. First things first on this. Real quick. First of all, like, buddy, out of all the places to go, you know what I'm saying? Like, out of all the places to go to do this, you do this in broad daylight where everybody can see. And it just so happens that somebody's recording you taking a woman into the back seat. Real fine police work, man. Real fine police work. Out of all the places you could do, like, out of all the time, all the places, you didn't think to yourself, hey, maybe I should go, if I'm going to do this, maybe I should go somewhere where nobody's going to, like, I don't know, see me, record me,
No, yo lo acordaba, lo voy a mandar. Vaya, para el carro, mira, para atrás la lleva, mira, ve.
Boy, my boy about to, boy,
Ey, no, mira,
boy, that man about to, you know what I'm saying? He about to knock the lining off of that. Man, about to knock the lining out of that, man. I'm gonna be honest, I can't even blame him, bro, but it's a cold world, man. It's a cold world, man. Temptation will get you. Temptation will get you. Temptation will get you, man. You feel what I'm saying? And that man took the bait. Damn. I'm just wondering, was it worth it? Was her box worth it, my guy? Because, like, damn. You ain't even look like, bro, you ain't even like, he's so mesmerized. He ain't even looking over and seeing dude recording him. It's crazy, man.
Hey, yo.
That's crazy.
Quítate, man.
Nah, that's crazy.
Hey,
That boy
yo.
either getting, that man is either getting some, man. Officer reporting for duty. Oh my goodness. Damn, bruh. For all we know, that could be his side piece, low key. You know what I'm saying? That could, like, for real be his side piece, for real. Honestly. And then let's see here. I have found so apparently, not apparently, but I had to know bro was married. Bro was married, so let's see what it says right here. She said something right here. Let me go ahead and go read it real quick. Where is it at? Right here. Let me see where it's at. Yeah, it's right here. Okay. So it says, and I quote, let me click on this to see what it says. I'll read it for y'all. This is what his wife said. Thank you, everyone. Yes, this is a very tough time for me and my kids. As embarrassing and painful as this is, please check in on us. We need the support, the love, and most of all the respect from the community and our families. Yes, I know what's been going on. No, I am not updating anyone on this situation after today. Virginia's husband left her ass a long time ago because she cheated. So she and my husband decided to do this behind my back for years. Oh, okay. She knows the woman. Okay. I'm not seeking anyone else's input. I don't need anyone's opinion. My life is my life. I will make decisions according. I think she was trying to say accordingly. I will make decisions accordingly. I love you all, except for you, Virginia. You can rot in hell, bitch. Virginia Pinto. Wow. She gave out her government. And then the woman came back, apparently. Let me read this right here. It's so much. Not that I owe anyone an explanation. This girl has been cheating on her husband for a while now, herself. I know everything. Everyone, look, this is life. And y'all know nothing. I've done nothing wrong. All I want to say is y'all have the wrong info. Paula Marlette isn't saying the whole story, which I understand, but please don't be mad at me because your husband wants me. Oh, God. The shade. Damn, bro. And this is what she looked like right here. See, well, I mean, hey, I don't know. I don't know. That's her. Hey, man. I ain't gonna lie. It's back there, though. That thing back there, though. I ain't gonna lie. It's back there. It's fire. Hella fire. But in all seriousness, though, it's just a thing that happens, man. I ain't gonna lie. Temptation. Bro, let temptation get the best. You know what I'm saying? Goodness, great goodness. Jeez, that's what she look. Golly, bro. I don't really care for the face, but like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's back there. I ain't gonna lie. If that is her, goodness, Lord. Anyways, man. So, like, really, I'm gonna be honest with you. This is a very tough situation all around, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. The whole situation is just really tough. You're married. Your wife knows the woman that you're allegedly doing stuff with. Yeah, the whole thing just seems a little, I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. I don't know. And then dude's white. So he playing a dirty game with two sisters, man. He don't know some black woman will go crazy. He don't know. I don't think he knows. I don't think he understands what could truly really happen. You feel what I'm saying? He doesn't. I don't feel like he knows. You know what I'm saying? Damn, he got kids too. So that's tough, man. That's for real tough, man. I don't know. I don't know, bro. I don't know. And then they said he got suspended before the video came out. So it's like from 2019 or something like that. So, but I guess now it's going viral. So, hey, man. Who knows what the situation? Like, it's only the wife and the husband that know how the situation is now, and of course she's not gonna tell the whole world what she got going on. So, moving on from that, man. Shit's crazy, bro. Police are, and it's just like I said though. I knew it was a side piece, bro. That's not just some random. You know what I'm saying? Some random skeezer that he was locking up or nothing like that. That's a side piece. I think honestly, at some point, I feel like he wanted, like, I feel like he knew people was looking or doing whatever, and he didn't care. You know what I'm saying? It's like I feel like it's a regular day for him. But moving on from this, man. Gonna move on from this. Move on from this, and we're going to move on to Brother Polite. Yo. Not gonna lie, man. This right here got to be the craziest story. It's got to be the craziest story. Considering the fact, like, what Brother Polite used to, like, what he used to represent. My cousin let me in on, like, you know, I had previously, some time ago in a far, far land, far away, I used to actually look at Brother Polite's videos. I used to look at his stuff. I didn't agree with everything he said, but, you know, I would see the brother as a very knowledgeable human being who had something to say, and he was trying to stand on that thing that he had to say, right? So, I think sometime earlier than this, like maybe 4, 5 years earlier or something, I had seen him in the news about, you know, something, but I paid it no mind. I'm like, it's nothing. But now we focus on today, in which the online personality, Brother Polite, has pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 7 years in prison for sexual battery of a child, plus 10 years probation. He will have to register as a sex offender and pay $250,000 in restitution fees. Wow. Okay, it says, listen to the victim's mother's court testimony. All right, let's see what we got here.
You see it when it says victim note?
Okay, yes, 1 second. All right, you may unmute, ma'am.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. All right, so what I'd like you to do is, well, you don't want to give your name, so at this point, just go ahead and you can give us an impact statement. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Michael Nowak. This is the first time I have spoken publicly about what you've done to my daughter and I. I have gracefully remained silent the last 2.5 years. 2.5 years of pain, shock, disbelief, PTSD, constant nightmares, and daily triggers. Trying to help my daughter heal when I'm not even healed myself. What you have done to my daughter, myself, and my entire family is inexcusable. You hurt us all. You made me believe that you were such a great man and you could do no wrong. You made me fully trust you, and for that, my daughter trusted you too. But the truth is, you're a monster. A demon. The very first time that I allowed you to be alone with my daughter, the very first time, and you couldn't even help yourself.
Damn.
You told me you was gonna be right back. You were going downstairs. You were gonna grab food and take vacation pictures. You told me that you wanted to have a one-on-one talk with her about loving and respecting me as a great mother that I was and am. And I actually believed you. I believed that you were gonna bring her right back.
Damn, bro. I need that full test. I need the full thing. Goodness Lord. Wow. Oh, this whole thing. Hold on. Before I continue, is there anything It says official audio of the judge sentencing Michael Nowak, aka Brother Polite, to 7 years in state prison in Florida. Wow. And then it says he won't have to register as a sex offender as part of the plea deal. Wow. That's crazy, bro. I ain't gonna lie. It's crazy. Well, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and listen to the rest of this. What the mother of the child who's the victim has to say.
And she's requesting pursuant to Mars.
Let me see.
Nowak, this is the first time I have spoken publicly about what you've done to my daughter and I.
Because we already listened to it.
I actually believed you. I believed that you were going to bring her right back. I thought you were going to have this trusting conversation with her that you promised me. Her and I both trusted you. For a grown man to violate a child who trusted him, you should be ashamed of yourself. You plotted on me and my little girl.
Damn.
The entire time you knew what you planned to do. Isolate, intoxicate, then violate my baby. Shame on you. I trusted you to bring her right back. You were supposed to bring her back the same way that you took her. Instead, you drugged her and took advantage of her. And you sexually abused her. You forced alcohol down her throat.
Dog.
You then forced her to see things that no child should ever.
Bruh.
You forced her to feel things that no child should have to feel.
Wow.
You forced her to accept violence that no child should ever have to endure.
Yeah,
You
that's
forced
crazy.
drugs in her that no human should ever even ingest. She's my child. My baby. How could you? You could have killed her with all the drugs that were found in her system.
Oh my God.
And you thought your master plan was mapped out perfectly, huh? You thought I'd be dumb enough to believe you over my child. And you thought that money would blind me. You thought I was going to be so blinded that I wouldn't notice when you returned her with bruises all over her body and her mouth busted, uncontrollably shaking. Absolutely not. And although you executed your plan and you got what you wanted those couple of hours, you actually failed. Because look where you're at right now. You have created a lifetime of trauma for my daughter and I. Before you, we never knew evil existed. You brought so much evil into our lives that early morning, and I'll never forget. I called you like 50 times and you wouldn't answer me. And I called her too, but you took her phone. You drugged my baby and you gave her no way to seek help. You left me no way to contact her or even know where she was. I get physically sick now whenever I'm away from my daughter because of you.
Damn, bro.
Something as simple as her going to school, I'm in panic mode. Because I'm scared when she comes back, she's going to be hurt all over again. I constantly have flashbacks of that night. And what she lives with is not okay. She feels uncomfortable around people and will live with this forever, and this is not fair to her. She never deserved this. Shame on you for forcing evil on our youth. And you know, for a year, I questioned, how could you even do this to us? Her and I did nothing wrong to you. We trusted you. I moved across the country because I believed everything that you told me. But it was pure manipulation I see now. All you do is specialize in selling false dreams.
I ain't gonna lie, this is a hard watch. This is a hard listen.
Mother who simply trusted
I'm gonna be completely honest with you.
But you know what?
This is very hard. This is very chilling to listen to right now, honestly. I don't know if I can. I in my heart of hearts don't know if I can continue with her, like, this lady's distress and her crying, and like I don't, because it's chilling because she keeps on like revealing like more and more, and it's like I don't know, man, like that. Yeah, man. People like that gotta go to jail, man. I used to actually think this guy. I used to actually think Brother Polite was a very intelligent human being, and then, yeah, he goes and does the nastiest thing possible. I'm trying to find like everything regarding the case. It's kind of hard right now. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, I'm a read it. Okay, so all right, so it says Brother Polite, who is being charged with M-word, his girlfriend's 14-year-old daughter, is going to plead guilty to the offense. The whole situation is unfortunate. Okay. What else is there? Yeah, there's no way to explain this. There's no way to explain it. You know what I'm saying? He did a horrible thing, and he should go to jail. You know the what they say about people who do things to kids. So he's going to jail. He's about to feel the wrath of every prisoner in whichever prison he's going to. For real. Like, I don't know, man. Something changed with Brother Polite, bro. Something completely changed with Brother Polite. Like, he let Hollywood get him. He let Hollywood get him, bro. You know, it's that type of thing I would never wish on somebody, like anybody who's like trying to like push our people in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? It's like somebody like Umar Johnson, bro. Like, I would be absolutely. I don't really follow Umar Johnson. I don't really follow any of these pro-black people like that. But I mean, you know, there are like three main things I would never want to see for any of these pro-black people who like really just want to progress us as a people. Number one, don't let Hollywood get you. Number two, don't let women get you. And number three, not getting caught up in no type of like temptation, you know. Not getting caught up in no type of temptation, because there are weaknesses of the black man. There are weaknesses of the black woman. There are weaknesses of the black man. And I'm not saying that it's that in this case at all. But, you know, before all of this happened, it really did just look like Brother Polite was going down a hill paved by hell. For real. From the moment I seen him on DJ Vlad, you know, we love to blame Vlad, but I mean, I feel like as soon as I seen him on DJ Vlad, I was like, oh yeah, he's out of here. Bro moved from he moved from New York to Los Angeles, and Hollywood got him, you know. I wouldn't wish something like that on nobody who is out to speak good, intelligent things for black people. And like I said, that doesn't negate from the fact that he did something terrible here. He did this terrible thing on his own, with his own mind and everything like that. It is sick. It is that EDP type stuff. And hey man, you gonna be in jail. You gonna be in jail for 7 years, and them prisoners gonna make you feel it for 7 years. You hear me? 7 years, dog. 7 years. I can't be middle ground on this, because it's such a horrible situation. It's a horrible situation, and you know, why are people like this walking amongst us? You know, why are people who think dirty thoughts in a manner like this, and even go as far as like doing the dirty, disgusting things that they think about like this out in the world, bro? Like, why? It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's even more disgusting the people who are in power who have done stuff like this, who have done things like this that the news will never talk about, the blogs will never talk about, the internet will never see or know. The people in power, the people who we regard as celebrities, like, it's disgusting. And it's definitely some Holly weird stuff. Like I said, I don't know. I don't think I can like sift through this woman's testimony because you know what I'm saying? Like it's a hard listen. I ain't gonna lie. It's a very, very hard listen. But if you want to go look at it, it's on YouTube. It's there for your consumption if you want to continue, because her crying, it's tough to, you know, hear, like, really sit there and listen to this, you know, mother who's like really just angry, frustrated, filled with emotions, scared, you know. She has to live every day of her life raising her daughter in fear because of something that happened with somebody she trusted. And that is the worst part of it all. It was somebody she trusted. Can you imagine those people who something like this has happened with a family member? That's even worse, but it's like, still, it's either blood or somebody you trust. Like, something like this, it's weird because something like this happens all the time and it doesn't make the news. It doesn't make the news. It doesn't make it on the internet. And it never makes it to a police station. It's very disgusting. Very disgusting. And Brother Polite deserves to go to jail. And he deserves to live with the decisions and live with those prisoners and what they have for him when he gets to whatever jail he's at. And that's all I got to say about it. I'm going to move on from this, man, because like I said, the victim's mother, I just can't, man. It's a lot. It's a lot. I'm going to just move on. Man. What I'm going to move on to, I might do that one last. I'll do it last. Let me see here. Wait. So, yeah, we're going to do, so Diddy, I got to look up the article. So Diddy, let me see here. Y'all bear with me for a second because that last one was a lot. It was a lot. So Diddy reassigns music publishing rights to Bad Boy artists, including Biggie, Mace, and Faith Evans. Okay, so it says, in a rare move themed for Labor Day, Bad Boy Records founder Sean Diddy Combs has decided to reassign his Bad Boy publishing rights back to all Bad Boy artists and writers who helped build Bad Boy in the powerhouse it is today. A source close to the situation confirmed to Variety. The artists in question include the Notorious B.I.G., Estate, Faith Evans, Mace, The Lox, 112, and many more unspecified creators. Specific details were not immediately available, but the assets are said to be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Those assets have increased dramatically in value in recent years as many artists or estates representing the music catalogs, Bob Dylan, Bruce Springsteen, Genesis, Luther Vandross, and many others have struck 9-figure deals, selling or partially selling the rights to those catalogs. The source notes that Combs has received multiple multi-million-dollar offers for the rights to the Bad Boy Publishing catalog, but instead has decided to reassign the rights to the songwriters. The source added that most, but not all, of the recipients have been located, contacted, and signed the necessary paperwork. Mace, if y'all remember correctly, Mace and Diddy are beefing. I feel like they've been beefing forever over him not gaining access to the rights of his music and, you know, not being paid the money he's owed for what he contributed to Bad Boy during the time he was signed there. Mace, a multi-platinum selling Bad Boy rapper who appeared with Combs on many songs, has often called out his former mentor over money allegedly owed. Combs said on the Breakfast Club last year that Mace actually owed him $3 million, a claim that Mace disputed aggressively. Mace said in 2020 that Combs had refused his $2 million offer for Mace's publishing. In fact, Mace's longtime friend and collaborator Cameron leaked the news of the publishing arrangement in an Instagram post last week. Referencing his friend's original rapper name, Murder Mace, Cameron wrote in a post about the Lost Files, his forthcoming mixtape. My nigga Murder had to sit this one out. He just got publishing back from Puff, just finished the paperwork from that yesterday. Congrats. During the 1990s, it was not uncommon for labels or label owners to take a percentage of an artist's publishing as part of a recorded music deal. Although that syndrome has faded away as artists and songwriters have become more aware of the value of their publishing rights, Combs sees it as an opportunity as part of a broader goal of promoting economic empowerment for Black artists and culture. Okay, so from what I have always heard from what I have always seen in the music industry, it's not a good thing, it's not a good thing to sign with Bad Boy or Diddy, because there are so many artists who have been jerked around by Puffy. Notably, Craig Mack. Of course, Mace. Of course, who else? There are many artists. There are many artists who have been. You can probably even say 112. You could probably say 112. Honestly, one would say like on paper it looks like a good idea, but on another end it would be like, okay, well, Diddy been getting money from all of the publishing of all of this music from back in the 90s for like how many years, how many decades, and now he wants to finally give these people back their rights. Like I remember, I finally remember the Lox beefing with Diddy over their rights, their publishing, like I remember that. I was young, but I remember it. He's beefing with the Lox. I'm sure it was a fight for Biggie's estate to get the rights to his music. You know what I'm saying? For Biggie's mother, Biggie's daughter to even get rights to the music. You feel what I'm saying? Like, Diddy is notorious. From what I've seen, Diddy is notorious for just jerking to his artists. Loon, you know, artists who put out major hits, who were part of major records, major hits. I'm sure there are producers who to this day have never gotten paid for the work they did with Bad Boy. So this artist right here, Mark Curry, who I remember on the We Ain't Done Going Nowhere, We Ain't Going Nowhere. I remember him. He was on that song. And here's what he had to say about the whole entire ordeal.
What was it worth 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and what's it worth now? What did he give you back? I'm telling you, he gave me mine back a long time ago. I was the first person he called. He said, Mark, I want you to be the first person that know this. I'm giving all my artists back their publishing, which is equivalent to giving back your girlfriend after he done poked her in the booty and raped her and did everything that he got all of the worth out. It's like a spider went in and sucked all of the insides out of it and then give it back. That's disrespectful. I told her, why don't you just keep it and pay me? I don't want the publishing. I want the money. Come on, y'all think he doing a good thing?
He's saying the music ain't worth nothing now.
Come on, man. It's not worth anything. And then he don't have the Ciroc or the DeLeon, and then he gonna give $1 million to Jackson State like he doing some humanitarian type thing. He just trying to do whatever he can to keep his name relevant so he can go for a new deal because he don't really have nothing that's making him no money right now.
Wow.
He's not even a billionaire no more. So let's talk.
Wow. Wow.
Let's talk. What y'all want to do?
Music game is a dirty place, bro.
Yeah, I just want to read about it and let it seem like everybody like, oh, Puffy gives all his artists back their money. I mean, they publish it. So what? The shit ain't even.
I mean,
worth
it's like it took like I knew like I knew something didn't seem right because I'm like it took way too long for Mace, who was beefing with Diddy, who's been recently beefing with Diddy. First of all, he's recently beefing with Diddy. He just reconciled his beef with Cameron, and they both started a show. So they now making the money he was supposed to be making from the music that he was supposed to be allowed to have because it's actually his music from somebody who he thought was not only a business partner but a friend. But now when you look at it, it's like it took way too long for all these artists to get what was actually owed to them, like a long time ago. The Locks should have gotten their music, their publishing rights for their music a long time ago. They shouldn't have been beefing with Diddy. They shouldn't have been beefing with all these artists. Shouldn't have been they shouldn't have had to beg for so many years, so many decades have passed. The commodity of wanting some of these artists' music has like passed away. So it's like, what is it worth now?
$1 a year, it's not worth nothing. You can't do nothing. Most of these songs that all of the artists have, ain't nobody gonna come back and license them for movies later on. Shine, Bad Boy for Life. What kind of nigga slang banging the street? Nah,
let that man cook. He cooking.
That's not like Bon Jovi. That's not like the Police.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We talking about songs that publishing that got long legs. It ain't really no long leg publishing coming out of there except for the one he got with every breath, every step you take and all of that kind of stuff. Ain't nothing else valuable over there.
Or something that he did with Total.
You know, give him his publishing back. But what's the value in it? If ain't nobody picking up these songs and listening to them right now, like on the radio, if they not picking them up and listening to them right now, then it ain't nothing being generated on them. Like they just did 50 years of hip hop, so they went back and brought back Melly Mel, they brought back a whole bunch, they brought back Craig G, they brought back a whole bunch of old school artists.
Oh, you know what? I just thought about something.
Gives them
I just thought about something. He said something about the 50 years of hip hop. Do y'all remember when they did like the 25 years of Bad Boy or something like that? They did like a 25 years of Bad Boy concert on the BET Awards, and it's like, like I never really thought to think like, damn, some of these artists that he brought back, like BET, like got to come back and do the reunion concert with Diddy, are artists he probably still ain't paid yet. There are artists like that was at that thing that probably still ain't get paid. They probably ain't get paid. They probably ain't get they They probably still ain't get they publishing. It's crazy, bro.
Some publishing legs, just when people say, who is that, and then want to go Google them and then maybe see what the songs that they used to do long time ago. Now, that might make them a couple of dollars. But, come on, y'all. What y'all want to do? What's going on, Miss Scott? What's going on, Rick Reese? You know, I just said so many people just kept sending me this post about Puff giving back publishing. Man, that shit hurt. That's like giving back my girlfriend, but you done got 4 kids with her. Took my girl from me 10 years ago, give it back 10 years. I got a 10-year-old son and twins and all of that, and they his. Whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo. Why he didn't just keep that and give everybody $2 million? You know what I'm saying?
Why didn't he?
Just keep that and give everybody $1 million?
Why ain't just pay everybody for real?
Sorry for, you know, what I may have caused in your life, and you know what I may have taken from you and your family. I know you could have ate with these over the years.
Imagine Shine.
I took it and I was soaking it up. So really, only thing
imagine giving Shine the amount of money that he was worth when he was out. When he was out at that very moment and making music around that time. Secondly, apologizing to him for the whole club thing, for the like, bro, he literally Shine went to jail for Diddy. Shine went to jail for Diddy, and Diddy just said, "Yeah, get up out of here. I don't care about that nigga now." Just like, yo, it's completely like, it would be crazy for, I mean, considering the circumstances now and how Shine has like completely changed his life. I think he's at peace with that whole entire thing. I mean, before, when he had first got out of jail and, you know, he wasn't allowed in America or anything like that, bro, beefing heavy with Diddy. Heavy with Diddy.
Is confessing everything that I own belonged to somebody else. But y'all still think he's doing something nice? He's not doing nothing nice. He's just giving back what he never should have had in the first place.
It's reparations, man. He finally giving reparations. The slave master giving out reparations, bro. That's really what it is.
Money. I don't really care about the publishing. I don't really care.
But it's not really reparations. It's just really your music that you produce. That you
telling you, the publishing only be like, man,
that you made.
Should only be like, man, about 700 here and there, 400 here and there. I do get licensed people that want to use Bad Boy for Life in different movies and things like that. I get those quite often, but I still worked out a deal with the people who I got a publishing deal with. Whenever I get something like that, if I just agree to let them use it, I still get the money anyhow. So
that's
it doesn't
good.
really matter. Y'all really want to get on this publishing game. Let's talk about it. What's 100% of nothing? Come on, let's see who's smart. Somebody put it out there. 100% of nothing. What's that? Talk to me. You know what I'm saying? He want to be real nice. I told him when he died, I said, look, man, how about you keep the publishing and just pay me for it? I said, just give me the money for it. You keep it. He said, nah, I want to give it to you and then let you do what you feel you want to do with it. I said, well, I wanted to do something with it years ago, but you just not wanting to give it back. How about, nah. You keep her.
Yeah. So it's very clear that Mark Curry is not pleased at all with the publishing news and or I guess, rights being the rights to the music that he was on and or made albums or singles or anything like that. He's not very pleased about that at all. Yeah, man, I don't know, man. This is just another narrative to put in the basket of Diddy as the person. Of course, you know, there are many other like conspiracies, and there are many other conspiracies about Diddy. There are many other things, many other talks about him, which, you know, I'm not going to get into that here, but it's just the slave master giving out reparations, but he's not really giving out reparations. He's just giving you back the rights and the publishing to the music that you made. That's pretty much it. He's not really paying nobody nothing. So it's actually very unfortunate. And yeah, if you're somebody who's trying to get into music, just be watchful of something like this happening. That's all I got to say about that, honestly. I mean, I can't say I'm surprised at all. But we are moving on to, I'm going to move right along to this. I've been waiting for this very thing right here. So, Tucker Carlson interviewed a gentleman by the name of Larry Sinclair, who says he had a night of crack cocaine fueled sex with Barack Obama. Yes, you heard that right. Larry Sinclair, who's a man, says he had a night of crack cocaine fueled sex with Barack Obama, and that Obama came back for more the next day. Assess for yourself. Here's our interview. Now, before I get into this interview, I'm going to be unbiasedly looking at this. You remember what I said earlier about like how I'm going to be looking at things from the other side. This is one of those things. A person like me would be like, yeah, I'm not looking at this BS because, I mean, this is just something that's here to defame the name of Obama, by the way, who is not even president anymore. So I don't even understand what the attack is for on this. But at the same token, I do want to look into it. I do want to react to it because, bro, people get paid to do interviews every single day. And like I said, to even be saying something like this about a man who's married, first of all, got kids, second of all, one would say like, whoa, you're reaching, buddy. You're reaching, but we're just going to get into it. We gonna look at it. Let's just see let's grab your popcorn, people. This is a 41-minute interview. Grab your popcorn. And I am going to just be speeding up we're going to put it on 125 because I don't want to sit here and we just going to put it at 125. I'm just going to be looking at it. Why not? No biasness around me with this. Oh, no sound. Whoops-a-daisy. I got the sound up. Okay, let me put the sound up a little more. Make sure it's loud enough because I don't want nobody saying, oh, it wasn't loud enough. It wasn't loud.
In retrospect, it's pretty amazing that Barack Obama got as far as he did. In 2004, the summer of 2004, Barack Obama gave a keynote address at the Democratic Convention in Boston.
Okay.
And when he walked to the podium, probably only a small percentage of people in the room knew how to pronounce his name. He was totally unheard of. No one knew Barack Obama. At the time, He was a state senator in Illinois. 4 years later, he once again spoke to the Democratic Convention, but this time as the nominee. Meteoric doesn't begin to describe it. How did this happen? Well, the outlines are fairly well known, though rarely talked about. A small group of Democratic donors, mostly in Chicago, decided that Barack Obama was their guy. He was the vessel for their ambitions. They paid for his campaign.
By the way,
paved the way for his rise.
By the way, I do just want to, when he said something about, let me see, because I do like to go back to a person I love to watch the opinion of is Judge Joe Brown. Oh my God, Judge Joe Brown buries Barack Obama. Judge Joe Brown will spend two to 7 hours talking about the history of Obama, his family, of course, being tied to, I believe George Bush or the Bush family or something like that. And he just reminded me of something. Tucker Carlson said something just now that reminded me of Judge Joe Brown and him talking about basically Barack Obama's rise to power and how his dad, I believe his stepdad was like he was connected to the Bush family in some way or something like that, connected to CIA or something. But that always takes that makes me think about that.
He spent 2 years pointlessly in the United States Senate preparing to run for president in 2008, and of course, in the end, he won. But the question was, who was this man? Where did he come from? What did he spend his life doing before he became president of the United States? Well, the news media, whose job it is to answer those questions, spent the entire 08...
I feel like he's going down the rabbit hole of how y'all remember how Donald Trump was like asking for Barack Obama to show his birth certificate and everything like that. I feel like that's where we're leaning. It's where we're leaning with this.
Campaign trying to keep you from knowing the answers. By election day, most Americans knew only one thing about Barack Obama, other than he was handsome and a good communicator: hope and change. But they knew nothing about him, his origins, what he believed, and legitimate questions about those facts were turned away, as they often are, with the claim, "That's a conspiracy theory, you're crazy, shut up!" One of the most interesting moments in the 2008 campaign occurred when a man, like Obama himself, came from out of nowhere to recount his experiences with Barack Obama the man. His name was Larry Sinclair, and he told an amazing story. He said that in 1999, he had encountered Barack Obama in Illinois, had sex with Barack Obama, and then used cocaine with him.
Bro.
Sinclair went on to make these claims publicly at the National Press Club in Washington, to sign a sworn affidavit, and to take a lie detector test. But he was dismissed. In fact, he was attacked. Obama shills like Ben Smith of Politico batted the claims out without refuting them. They're absurd. And the rest of the media followed suit. But the claims...
Okay, so somebody's saying down here that this story was litigated in the court of public opinion in 2008. Larry Sinclair failed to pass a polygraph test. He proved that he was dishonest and a fraud over a 27-year span where he was convicted of multiple felonies involving his lack of honesty. Why are we relegating? I just want to see this real quick. Damn it. Why are we relegating it now when it doesn't matter one bit? Is this Tucker or X or tabloid on X? And then Elon Musk said, of course, the probability that his claims are true would have to rest on objective evidence rather than claims made by someone with dubious history. Yeah, but if he lied on the polygraph test, then what is this video even up here for? You get what I mean?
As far as he did. In 2000, his experiences with Barack Obama the man.
If he lied on a polygraph test, what is this 41-minute video even up here for? I'm going to continue watching the video, but like still. Just off of that alone, like, why would somebody even want to, let's just watch it. Let's see what's going on.
Man. His name was Larry Sinclair.
Let's see what claims, what other claims he says.
In 1999, he had encountered Barack Obama in Illinois, had sex with Barack Obama, and then used cocaine with him. Sinclair went on to make these claims publicly at the National Press Club in Washington, to sign a sworn affidavit, and to take a lie detector test. But he was dismissed. In fact, he was attacked. Obama shills like Ben Smith of Politico batted the claims out without refuting them. They're absurd. And the rest of the media followed suit. But the claims weren't absurd. We're not claiming they're true.
Even the network you were on?
But they were certainly credible. This was a first-hand account of Barack Obama's behavior by someone who was willing to sign a sworn affidavit to that effect. So the question is, whatever happened to Larry Sinclair? What's his life been like since? That's an interesting story. It turns out Larry Sinclair is still alive. He lives in Mexico. But today, he's in our studio, and we're happy to have him. Larry Sinclair, thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me.
Where did you meet Barack Obama?
It was by accident. I was in the Chicago area in '99 for Lee Duke's graduation from the Naval Academy.
Who's Lee Duke?
He's basically my godson.
Okay.
I had hired a limousine service.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Did you live in Chicago then?
No. I was actually living in Colorado. I had flown in the night before.
Okay.
So I had hired a limousine service, had made the driver aware that if Lee couldn't leave the base, because once they graduate, some of them actually get their assignments and they're shipping out and they can't leave the base, that I was still interested in going out. And had asked the driver if he knew anybody that was available that might want to show me, Chicago. And he said he did. So
well, who was the driver?
His name was Jameer Motan.
I'm wondering if this man would be willing to do another lie detector test or polygraph test, whichever one it might be, because I would like to know. I would like to know about these claims.
It was with 5-star limo.
So you're just a guy who's in town for the night, and it sounds like you're looking to party, actually.
Yeah,
that's what you're really saying.
Yeah. Well, I was in town for a few nights, but yeah, I was definitely looking to party. And
did you make that clear to the driver?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There was no misunderstanding.
How direct were you about that?
Extremely.
Extremely. Okay.
Yeah. There was no doubt what I was looking for.
Okay.
And he picked me up at my hotel in Gurnee and drove into Chicago, pulled up in a bar outside, and there's this guy that's introduced to me as Barack Obama. It was literally that casual.
Had you ever heard of him?
No.
Did the driver know him?
Yep. The driver definitely knew him because the driver said that he
And this was when?
Interesting. How would the driver be friends with Barack Obama?
I only found out later, dealing with a reporter from Bloomberg News, that apparently the limousine company had been doing business with Tony Resco.
Oh, wow.
That at the time was somehow.
That's amazing. Okay. Larry Sinclair went as far as writing a book in 2009 about this whole entire ordeal. Really? Damn. Wow.
Affiliated
was
with
in
Barack
Obama's
Obama.
orbit.
Yeah.
Yes. Interesting. So he knew Barack Obama, and in his view, Barack Obama liked the same kind of partying you were looking for.
Yeah.
Okay. So sex and drugs, in other words.
Well, the sex part I wasn't so sure about until, of course, you make your move, but it became obvious very quick. The coke part I thought was interesting because of the way that I had brought it up.
So I'm stepping on your story. So you pull, and I apologize. So you pull up to this bar. The driver is basically scouting some dude for you to hang out with.
Correct.
There's this guy, Barack Obama. Have you ever heard of Barack Obama?
Never. Okay. Never. We're having drinks. I mentioned the fact that I could use something to wake up. I was extremely exhausted.
So you went into the bar?
Yes, sir.
What kind of bar was it?
I'm trying to remember. I've been trying to remember the name. I know that the glasses had 3 X's on them because I remember taking one home for a friend of mine.
But I mean, generally characterize it. Was it
It was
working class bar,
no,
gay bar, strip bar?
It was upscale, quiet. Wasn't really that really didn't have a lot of energy to it. It was more relaxed, more like a lounge as opposed to somewhere where people would go and get loud and crazy.
He claims that this was in 1999.
Which made it easier to talk. But like I said, when I brought up the fact that I could use something to wake up, he immediately knew what I was referring to, had made it clear that I was looking for coke, and I really was, and had made the suggestion that he knew where we could get it. And
I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know, man. Like, how many times has he told this story is what I want to know. Like, how many times has he told this story exactly to the T? Like, exactly just as he's telling it now. Has he said this exact same story each and every single time? Because, for one, I find it hard to believe that in 1999, What was Barack Obama doing in 1999? Was he in any type of office in 1999? 1999. Because I mean, there's a question about 1999. What was Barack Obama doing in 1999? Is what I want to know. What was he doing in 1999? I'm trying to figure out what was he doing in 1999. It's absolutely. Let me see here. Trying to. Okay, so it says he represented the 13th district in the Illinois Senate from 1997 to 2004. So if he represented the Senate from 1997 to 2004, I find it very hard to believe that this guy didn't follow politics whatsoever, not to know who Barry was. I kind of find that a little hard to believe, but once again, I'm not trying to be biased. I'm trying to hear out what all these claims he's making.
We left to go get it.
Interesting. Did he say what he did for a living?
Nope. I had no idea that he was a representative in the Illinois House. I had no idea he was in politics. I just knew that he was supposedly married and at the time was going through some issues with the marriage.
He said that?
That was made clear. Yeah.
Did he say what kind of issues?
No.
Do you remember? No. So you said, I'm looking for someone to wake up. He knows you're referring to cocaine. I know where to get it. What happens next?
We get back in the limo. The driver takes us wherever it is that Barack had instructed him to take us. I had given Barack $250 to pay for coke. He gets out, comes back. I start putting a line on a CD tray to snort.
And you're in the limo?
Yep.
Driving or parked?
No, the driver's driving.
Yep.
I start to put a line on a CD tray, and I just happen to notice that he pulls something else out of his pocket. And next thing I know, he's got a little pipe and he's smoking. So I don't have an issue with it. I mean, some people smoke, some people snort.
Smoking the cocaine?
Yes. So as I'm doing a line, I just start, this is the part where you kind of make your move to see where things are going. So I just started rubbing my hand along his thigh to see where it was going, and it went the direction I had intended it to go. So the night became somewhat active sexually and drug-wise in the limo.
So you hit on him. Did he seem shocked by that?
Not at all.
Yeah. I mean, if you're smoking crack with a stranger in the back of the limo, like, you got to imagine things might go crazy places.
Well, not only imagine it, I look at it this way. I've done a lot of crazy things in my lifetime. I'm a pretty good judge of character, and I pretty much know whether or not I can move in a certain direction.
What is the end goal with this, bro? Obama did what with you? Obama did what with you? First of all, you said Obama did what? You said you said he did what? Yeah, I would be inclined to see if they could give him another polygraph test, bro. Give him another polygraph test. Give him another polygraph test because I'm not gonna say I don't believe. I'm not gonna say I believe him or I don't believe him. I will say, your claim to having sexual advances with Barack Obama seems a little. That's some reaching. I mean, I'd be inclined to believe the drug thing before I believe you and Obama having sexual relations. Honestly, that's really where it's gearing in towards for me.
With an individual, I didn't feel that I was going in the wrong direction. I just wasn't so sure how much I could trust the individual at first, and that was probably one of my bigger concerns. But the fact that I was already becoming somewhat buzzed, you kind of throw caution to the wind.
You weren't sure you could trust the individual. What does that mean?
When you meet someone out of the blue and you go to a level that you're doing drugs with, or you're giving money to purchase drugs, or even for sexual activity, you have to be sure that you can trust them. And when I say trust, I mean that you're not going to end up being robbed, or that you're not going to end up having a knife stuck into you,
Right.
you know, from one direction.
Wait a minute. Is that because he's black? Would you have said that if that was a white political person in office? I'm wondering, because now we're leaning towards somewhere else. We're leaning towards somewhere else because I don't necessarily think he would be saying that if that was a white political person. It just sounds like it's leaning towards that way because, like, come on now, stabbed or robbed, like, come on now, just because he's black, what's that about?
Another, or that you're not going to pull up somewhere and all of a sudden the car door is going to open and you got 5 people pulling you out of it.
Totally.
That's what I mean when I say trust someone.
And you've been around at this point in your life, big time. Yeah. Right. So probably not your first time in a situation like this.
Not at all, and that's why I said I pretty much know where I can go and at what point.
So you start rubbing his leg, and I think, I'll just be totally blunt with you, like a man who's not into gay sex would be like, whoa, slow down.
Trust me, if it was something that you were not interested in, and you're right, I've had guys that I read wrong that would literally try to break your hand.
For sure.
If you went in that route. So it's not like this was something that he wasn't into. It's not something that he was shocked by. Shocked by, you don't get excited and you don't unbutton your pants and you don't just sit there and let it happen.
Yeah.
So it definitely wasn't Barack's first time. That much I'm absolutely certain of. And I would almost be willing to bet you it wasn't his last.
So,
Damn.
I did.
Obama. You did. In the driver's up front?
Yep.
And he's cool with this.
The driver has the partition up. He didn't have a problem with it. He didn't put it down for any reason.
I mean, he kind of set up the whole thing for this in the first place.
Exactly. And I have a funny feeling he had no bones to pick with it as far as what took place in it.
Yeah. So what happened after?
Afterwards, I actually went back to my hotel. I had specifically asked that he drop Barack off first, but for some reason, he and Barack chose that they would drop me off at the hotel first, and then he would take Barack.
You know, just another little thing here. One might even be, you know, if we're going on that side of the narrative, one might even say, hey, how come I've never heard of this story before now, or how come this story is being brought back up again? If you have heard of it, one might say Barack Obama been paying this dude off before he opened his mouth and started talking about this stuff. That's if I was on that side of the narrative. That's if I was on that side of the narrative. I'm trying to stay middle ground as much as possible. You feel what I'm saying? So that's just something I'm throwing in there because that's probably what somebody would say. Like, oh yeah, hey, Barack Obama. The reason why we ain't heard about this is probably because Barry been paying this dude off to keep his mouth shut. But that's if I was on that side of the narrative, like I said, middle ground. You feel me?
So Barack actually made the drive out to Gurnee, which is a suburb outside of Chicago, to the hotel for me to be dropped off.
What hotel was that?
It was the Comfort Inn in Gurnee.
Ooh, it sounds depressing.
Well, you have to remember it was 99.
Yeah. No,
and it was close to the Great Lakes Naval facilities.
yeah.
But I got dropped off. They left. The next day was somewhat interesting because he ends up showing up at my hotel room, which I thought was somewhat weird, but
He wanted some more.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say he showed up,
he showed up. I mean, I had no
He
warning.
wanted some
I
what?
was in the room. There's a knock on
More?
the door. I opened the door, and he's standing there.
Hey,
And he's
yo.
standing there with more coke. And he
Hey,
comes in,
yo.
and it was just like a quick, rehash or rerun from the
Bruh.
night before.
exact same program.
Exact same program.
Was he smoking again?
Bro.
So Barack Obama smokes crack, and then you perform.
No.
sex on him.
And like I said, the only reason I had come out about it is I had reached out to the campaign even in 2007.
Okay.
only because I saw all these kids getting excited about it.
Okay, wait. So, how did that end? Like,
Same way. You get off, you finish smoking, you leave.
thanks, bye. Huh. What did you think of him?
I thought it was interesting. I thought he was definitely a con. But
What do you mean by that?
well, in my life at that point, you made it clear. I had already been around.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. So when people are doing things because
okay.
they actually really enjoy it, or they're
I know
sincere, or
what
they're
he's
looking,
saying.
for
Yeah.
a connection, or they're doing something because they're looking for an in, or they're looking for a hook, or it's a game.
Yeah.
So for me, I felt that it was a game for him. It was like, okay, what am I going to get out of it, or is there?
So what my man's is so what Buddy's trying to say here is Obama is trying to psych himself out of being in the men and that he's down low, basically. That's what he's saying right now. This is some craziness, bro.
Something I can get out of it other than just, the sexual part.
Right.
And lucky for me, I wasn't going back to Chicago anytime soon, so it really didn't matter.
So you were left with a bad taste in your mouth.
Something, yeah. Yeah.
Did you talk to him again?
I did not. In fact,
And did you have any idea, even though you had sex with him twice, you did cocaine with him, watched him smoke crack twice, you had no idea who he was?
I had no idea who he was until I'm sitting in my house in Tequila, Nayarit, Mexico in 2004, and he walked on that stage
In Boston?
in the DNC convention, and I literally hit the floor. I just hit the floor and was.
Wait, so you're watching the Democratic Convention from Mexico?
I was
And the guy that smoked crack in your comfort inn with you?
I was laughing so hard.
And you were sure it was him?
I was absolutely positive.
How?
I don't forget people I've met. I don't forget people I have spent time with. I just don't.
And just to restate, because I think you affirmed this, but he used his real name when you were with him.
Yes,
Did he call himself Barack or Barry?
Barack.
Barack.
And so did the driver. And that's why at first when everybody was referring to him as Barry, I just didn't understand or catch on. Because like I said, I didn't know that much about him other than the fact that, hey, you hook up, today it's Grindr. Back then it was,
The limo driver.
yeah, a limo driver or a bartender, You ask and somebody knows somebody or somebody doesn't.
Amazing. Amazing. So you're sitting there in Mexico watching this. And you think,
Talk about
that's the guy I had
amazing.
sex with who smoked crack with me.
That's crazy.
And what do you think?
Like I said, I just started cracking up.
Embarrassing.
I freaked out. I had even pointed out to some friends of mine that were at the house that night, and I told them, I said, you're not going to believe this. I said, I blew this guy twice, and they just start cracking up. But that's the thing about me. I've never been in the
disgusting.
closet. I've never hid. I mean, I'm always very direct and
Disgusting,
blunt.
bro.
And, I'm just like, this is unreal, and I had no idea that he was going to run, in 2008, but I was back from Mexico, but it was a strange feeling sitting there watching him walk across that stage and realizing who he was.
Huh. So what did you do? You said you reached out to the campaign?
Well, I didn't do anything in 2004, but when he announced his run for 2008, I did reach out to the campaign in late 2007 because I had seen a lot of these college kids talking about how thrilled they were, how there was a candidate who was completely honest about his entire life, his drug use, what he did when he was in school. The constant back and forth. 1 minute is, yes, I did cocaine when I was younger, or no, I never did cocaine, but I smoked weed. So I just simply pointed out that all I was asking was, look, why don't you just simply come out and say, I did coke and I've done it as recently as 1999. Just tell the truth. Put it out there and be honest and let it stay as the truth rather than this back and forth.
What is he talking about? Doesn't he know that presidential candidates lie? If I could count how many times presidential candidates have lied about their lives, have lied about promises that they're making to the American people about what they're gonna do when they get in the White House, I'd be a billionaire right now. I would be a billionaire right at this very moment. Right at this very moment. Presidential candidate, Potential presidential candidates lie. Lie, 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 lie. Every one of them. They all lie. There is no such thing as an honest presidential candidate. None of them. They all lie. They all lie about something. So I don't understand what he would gain from telling the Obama campaign that he should tell the truth about something that potentially could be true or not be true. I don't understand what he would gain from that.
Never did hear anything back from them immediately.
Who did you reach out to? Do you remember?
I reached out to actually David Axelrod's office in Chicago. I'm trying to remember the letters because it was actually 3 letters.
And did you say I had sex with Barack Obama?
This is the interesting part. My first contact with the campaign never mentioned the sex whatsoever. That was actually brought to my attention by someone who eventually reached out to me in late 2007, claiming to be with the campaign, but wasn't with the campaign.
What do you mean that was pointed out to you? So you never told anyone in the Obama campaign you'd had sex with Barack Obama?
Not in 2007, no.
Interesting. But they knew?
Yep.
How?
So you basically gave up some information to a
Barack
stranger.
himself, because the phone calls that I got in late 2007 came from a gentleman that I have repeatedly identified as Donald Young. And it was Donald Young who had mentioned to me that the campaign was not going to acknowledge the sex and the drug interaction. And I was somewhat taken back because, like I said, I had never mentioned the sex to the campaign at all at that point. I had in 2008, but I had not in 2008.
Okay, that is amazing. And I want to get to who Donald Young was in just a minute.
Keep saying amazing, bro.
I apologize for being a bad interviewer, but let me just ask the obvious question, what was Obama like on crack?
Actually, and I hate to say this because some people are going to think I'm really crazy. I knew a lot of people that...
This is a trash... I ain't gonna lie, this is kind of a trash bag interview, and Carlson is a trash bag himself for asking goofy ass questions like that. What was Obama like on crack? What was Obama like on crack? Like, bruh. Like, on one hand, it's funny. But on another hand, it's just like, bro, that is cheap shot, trash bag interviewing. That's cheap shot, trash bag interviewing, bro. Keep it, like, if you're going to interview somebody who is making claims as strong as this is, you need to keep it professional, bro. Ask, what is Obama like on crack? Keep it professional if you're gonna interview somebody, bro.
Smoked it because I was in Miami in the early 80s when it became quite popular. Similar to a friend of mine that I knew in Miami, gets extremely high, calm, almost euphoric. And then as it starts to come down,
look at his face, the curiosity.
Twitching and the looking, anything that looks white that's sitting on the seat or the floor, you assume is another piece that fell off that, you can pick up and smoke. But while he was high, pretty much the same.
Pretty controlled.
Pretty controlled, euphoric, talkative, but not really saying anything.
So it was like his presidency.
A lot like it.
Was it your impression, and of course you would, strictly speaking,
he's not president anymore, Tucker.
No. You don't, first of all, you don't buy crack, get in a limo, and have a pipe in your pocket if it's the first time you smoke crack.
Yeah.
You just don't.
That makes sense. So I've read about your story to the extent it's been written about, not very much. But I'd never read that Donald Young, this man Donald Young, called you and told you that he knew you'd had sex with Barack Obama.
That was the contact in late 2007 that I had that originally came under the guise that they were part of the Obama campaign.
So who was Donald Young?
Donald Young was a choir director and a school teacher. He was the choir director at Jeremiah Wright's church in Chicago, the same church that Barack Obama went to. He was also a very openly gay black man. but very well
See,
respected.
now we're starting to culminate something here, because if you remember correctly, Jeremiah, what was it, Jeremiah Wright or Jeremiah? Yeah, Jeremiah Wright, that pastor of the church that Barack Obama used to go to, the pastor of that church, Jeremiah Wright, started saying things that, Obama had to basically get away from, because somehow he had, somehow somebody had infiltrated his pastor into saying some things that wasn't so on the basis of, Obama's campaign or even the party that he represented. So, yeah. I don't really find what he says hard to believe with the person who is from that church. I do remember his pastor speaking out about him, I believe. Speaking out about Obama.
I had never met him. I had not even realized that the person who was communicating with me had been killed until a good 2 months after.
So I'm going to get to that. So Donald Young is the choir director at Jeremiah Wright's church.
Yes.
And is it publicly confirmed that he knew Barack Obama?
Oh, yes. Yes. Donald Young's own mother has repeatedly said that she feels that her son died to protect Barack Obama.
It's just interesting that Donald Young would have called you. He's not working directly for the campaign that we know of.
Exactly.
But somehow he has a copy of your letter. It sounds like maybe Donald Young was on cleanup duty.
Somehow he has my phone number. Exactly. And that's exactly what it was, because like I said, the first calls were, I was led to believe that he was with the campaign. The last conversation that I had had with Donald Young, he had actually come clean and said that he had been asked to call me and that his job was to get as much information from me as far as who I had spoken to, who I had given any information to, and to get that to them. He had told me to be careful, to watch myself, and to understand that the Barack Obama campaign was not in any way, shape, or form going to acknowledge anything or come out about anything. And he had made it clear that he had known Barack for quite some time and had had an intimate relationship with Barack for quite some time.
He told you that?
Yep. And that's when I knew that I could at least trust what I was being told. Originally, I had made it clear I didn't feel comfortable with the phone call because something just didn't seem right. But after a couple of calls, it started to all fall into place. And I had said the same thing to myself.
Wait, so you didn't know Donald Young existed?
Nope.
It sounds like you're not very political anyway. You weren't.
I wasn't at the time.
And you were just annoyed that Obama was talking about cocaine and lying about it.
I was extremely annoyed.
But the sex part had nothing to do with it.
No.
And Donald Young, who you don't know, never heard of, calls up and says, by the way, I know you had sex with Barack Obama. I did too.
Yep. Pretty much.
This is a longer conversation, which we can have in a minute, but Obama has a wife and kids, and he's telling America what a great family man he is. Is that, maybe you've seen this a lot, what do you think of that?
Well, in 2008, I made it clear that Obama was having marital problems in '99, and everybody in the world said that I was crazy, didn't know what I was talking about. And yet, 6 months ago, Barack Obama comes out and tells the world that exactly what I said was the truth. In 1999, he and Michelle came very close to divorce. Really. 15 years later, what I say is the truth, but 15.
So, if you were following Barack Obama's presidency enough, or watching closely during his first presidency, it was very clear that they had marital problems. That's not something I need some person who allegedly had an encounter twice. I don't need that. I don't need somebody like him to tell me that they were having marital problems. You can clearly see through different pieces of media that Barack Obama and Michelle were having marital problems. I think it was something along the lines of Michelle saying that, Obama wasn't home enough or something like that. Something along that lines. But you could clearly see that there was problems. That there were problems there. And, it's not like anything he's saying it's not like you know, you're telling the church anything that isn't already apparent, you know, that the media isn't already putting out there. So on that one, I'm just kind of like BS on that one.
15 years earlier, I'm a liar and a fraud. It's interesting how things eventually come out. But yes, believe me, I've seen.
They might have been
known guys that were
having
completely
marital
happily married that
problems,
will
but I
screw around,
mean,
with
you
another
know,
man
like I don't need you to tell us that.
on a weekly basis.
We don't
and
need you to
FaceTime.
tell us that.
Is it your sense that that's who Obama is, just transactional, or that he's bisexual, or like what is this?
No, my feeling that Barack Obama is probably, he's definitely bi. I think there is a lot of transactional qualities to him, because I think whatever he does, it is looking for a hook or looking for a benefit.
Yeah, that's consistent with his public persona too, I would say. So Donald Young calls you. You actually end up.
The
sounds
shots
like you
are
kind of like
crazy.
and trust Donald Young.
I did.
Tucker
Did he say how
Carlson
long
is
he's had a
taking
relationship
shots,
with
They had
and
just said that they had been
look,
intimate.
funny part about it is, bro can't even read that he taking shots at Obama and him. Like, he can't read the arc that this guy is putting together with each shot that he's taking. Like, there's more. It's on a deeper level that his brain cannot contain. You know what I'm saying?
Years. And what happened to Donald Young?
Donald Young was shot dead in his apartment, second floor in Chicago, Illinois. I think it was December 23rd of 2007. According to the police report and the death certificate, multiple gunshot wounds, close range, no forced entry, second floor apartment, yet not a single resident in the building heard a single shot, but yet they can hear every shot that's fired in the street outside. Jeremiah Wright announces that Donald Young's dead earlier that morning, even before it was announced, even before he was declared dead. I mean, a lot of it just didn't make sense.
This is all public, and you can look this up, and it's still on the internet. Tell us about Donald Young's mother.
Norma Jean Young actually is a former Chicago Police Department employee.
Really?
Really. She has worked for the Chicago PD. I had spoken with his sister Lorraine shortly after I realized that he was the gentleman that I had been speaking with. There were people at the time that were attempting to have Lorraine and other members of Donald's family file criminal complaints against me with Chicago because they wanted me arrested. They were trying to get the family to say that I was trying to con them or something. To my knowledge, they never did any such thing. But at the same time, I continued to respect Lorraine and the rest of the family. But Mrs. Young had finally come out and told David Nelson, who was a reporter that I knew out of Minnesota, that she was convinced that Donald had been killed, that his death was to protect his friend Obama. And she confirmed that they had, in fact, been extremely close for years.
I mean, did she confirm that they'd had sex, Obama and Donald Young?
Her confirmation wasn't referencing, or she did not specifically say that they were sexually involved. She just simply said that they had been intimate friends for years.
But she believed
That could just
Obama
mean that they
campaign
were friends
was
for years.
responsible.
She believed that his death was due to protecting Barack Obama.
I want to hear that from her mouth. I don't want to hear that from you, bro. I want to hear that from her mouth herself. I don't want to hear you try to talk for her. See, that's where everything starts to get strange with your story, because you're talking about somebody who's passed away and gone now. He can't even tell his part of the story, but I don't know if you congealed the story yourself, because of course the person you're talking about that is a supposed longtime friend of Obama is now gone, and then you're saying that his family, you still are in contact with them, and then you say something along the lines of, oh, his mother said that, told a reporter that him and Obama were friends for a long time. And when he asks the question about, oh, did she confirm that they were intimate, that's when it starts to get a little shaky, because if the mother, I want to hear it from the mother herself. want to hear you say that, oh yeah, they were friends, intimate friends for a long time. That gives off something of, oh yeah, they were smashing. They were friends who were smashing for a long time. I would love to actually hear the mother say this on camera, or you know, in a way that it can't be edited or something like that, because when you say it, it sounds like you're congealing, you're twisting the words to fit your narrative. That's what it sounds like, you know? That the things that get shaky are when you start to like try to when he tries to give first account of somebody else's thoughts. First account of somebody else's thoughts. Now, see, that's different, especially when the person is not around, or they don't talk to you anymore, or whatever party involved doesn't talk to you anymore, or isn't friends with you, or acquaintances, or whatever. That's when parts of this story start to get a little shaky. So I'm not. I'm catching the BS here.
And I made the same argument that people said, well, how are you accusing Barack? I said, I'm not accusing Barack of anything, but I said, I'm willing to bet my life that Barack Obama and Jeremiah Wright both know or have knowledge of who killed Donald Young. There is no doubt in my mind about that.
Well, this was a guy who was clearly going to be the next leader of the world. You know, people kill each other over insurance claims, over bar fights. There's a lot at stake here. I have no knowledge of this. I'm not alleging a murder by the Obama campaign or its allies, but it's not a crazy thing to wonder, obviously.
No, and the only thing after I realized what had happened.
No, it's not a crazy thing to wonder, because y'all are getting into conspiracy theory territory. He basically just alleges that Barack Obama and his former reverend know who killed his best friend. What?
Asked was the same thing that I had done. And I said, if you want to accuse me of being crazy, release your phone records. Turn over your phone records from your phone in '99. Turn over your phone records for the last year. I mean, it's that easy. If you've got nothing to hide, it's not like they're going to be made public. Turn them over to authorities. Let them investigate. Let them look. But no.
So now it seems like a fair time to ask about your motive. So your initial motive was you were annoyed because you believed, or you knew, that Obama was lying about his drug use.
Right.
But then after the Donald Young exchange, where he brings up the sex that you had with Obama, what was the point at which you decided, I'm just going to bring this to the country, I'm going to go public?
Well, in January of 2008, after having contacted the campaign yet again, I had decided, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to make a YouTube video and put it up, which I did. It wasn't because I was looking for anything out of it. In fact, if I had even stopped long enough to anticipate the blowback and the consequences of speaking out, me being me, it probably would not have stopped me. It might have slowed me a little bit, but it would not have stopped me. But I figured if you're going to call him out, you can't call him out on part of it. And people said, well, why didn't you just talk about the drug use and leave the sex out? And I said, because if I said he just used drugs and then you found out later it was drugs and sex, you would accuse me of lying because I didn't mention the sex. So my opinion was, if you're going to tell the story, then you tell the whole story and let the chips fall where they may. So that's exactly what I did.
And so you made a YouTube video. By the way, I looked for it last night. I couldn't find it.
That's because YouTube gave access to my account to someone shortly after the polygraph test. And I was never given access back to it before the video was actually deleted.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah. YouTube gave access to the account and the video was deleted. Microsoft gave access to my Hotmail account and all of my emails were circulating the internet, and vacation replies were set up on my email telling people that I was busy giving blowjobs and would get back with them when I was done. And oh, yeah.
Man, they wanted Obama to be president.
Yep, and they wanted me to be the biggest
I mean,
fraud.
hold on. Wait a minute, Tucker. Wait a minute, Tucker. They might have wanted Obama to be president, but they also wanted Donald to be president too. Let's not throw that narrative out there, man. They wanted Obama, man. They wanted Obama to be president, bro. They wanted Donald Trump to be president too. So, what are you trying to say? What are you trying to get at? What are you trying to get at, sir? They wanted Obama to be president just like they wanted Trump to be president. And guess what? Both of those things happened. I lived through both of them. Come on now. Don't play that game.
And nutcase that ever existed.
So I got to ask you, I mean, you know, I wasn't there. I can only assess what you're saying. I don't see any obvious motive for you for gain, financial gain. You're not going to get rich doing this. And in fact, you haven't. You've gotten impoverished as a result of it. But like if I'm a
Didn't he write a book?
reporter at the time, I remember thinking, well, that's an interesting story.
Hold on. Didn't he write a book about this? You saying he didn't gain no money? No money from doing this? Talking like he's impoverished. You can literally go look online and there's a book. When I was looking up this man's name, there's an actual book. There is a book written about this same exact thing that he's being interviewed for. So don't give me that BS, bro. Nah. He made some type of money off of this. That's a way for Tucker Carlson to try to give this man some sympathy. Shut up.
But it seemed like nobody in the media wanted to follow up with you. And some people, like Ben Smith at Politico, who's a liar and a shill posing as a journalist, I reread the piece last night that he wrote saying, oh, it's ridiculous. Right off the first graph, it's ridiculous, these claims.
Well, I think I have an answer for why a lot of reporters did not want to follow up. And I think it would have something to do with what David Axelrod told a old Chicago Sun-Times reporter, or no, a Chicago Tribune reporter, John Crutzen.
Axelrod had been a reporter in Chicago before he went into politics.
Well, John Crutzen worked for the Chicago Tribune. And John Crutzen actually came to Duluth, Minnesota and sat down with me and talked with me. And John Crutzen had told me point blank that before he had flown out, that he had spoken to Axelrod and that Axelrod had told him that they were aware of who I was and that it was their intentions to destroy me and that if any reporter had mentioned me to them, they would be completely cut off and that outlet would be completely cut off from access to the Obama campaign for the duration of the year. So I think that had a lot to do with why reporters didn't bring things up to the campaign, because everybody wanted access to, the new savior. Nobody wanted to be blackballed and denied access to a historic campaign.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's the guy's running for president and credible information comes out that he's smoking crack and having sex with dudes, I mean, that seems like a story.
Well, it would be a story if the media really cared about telling people the truth about anything.
Yeah, they're liars. And that Ben Smith is a liar.
Oh,
Mind you, I just want to put it out there. Mind you, Tucker Carlson works for Fox News. Remember Fox News? Fox News couldn't even believe Obama had won. Man, it's so funny that it's like this man is still wasting breath trying to press Obama. That's so crazy, bro. The obsession, this obsession is crazy. You had enough time to put together an interview with somebody who claims, allegedly, that he shared a night and a day with Obama. Like I said, man, I believe more. I believe in the drug thing. If I was somebody who, I'm not into politics at all. I just want to put that out there. I'm not into politics at all. If I was somebody who didn't know who Obama was, like I said, I would believe the drugs thing before the sex thing. For some reason, I don't know why, but that's what I would believe. If there was anything I believed from what this person said at all in this interview, in which he is jaw-jacking for 40 minutes.
Smith's more than a liar, but you're right.
What do you mean more than a liar?
He's a complete fraud. Ben Smith, I hear people talking about grifters. Ben Smith to me is a grifter. Ben Smith wrote an article saying that I had a 27-year
Criminal history.
career criminal. And the funny thing is if you look my criminal history up, which I've published myself and provided from day one, my criminal history goes from 1980 to 1986. And everything I've ever done, I've owned it. I've never wasted taxpayer money. And any sentence I've ever been given, I've served. But he also said that I was a fugitive, that I was avoiding prosecution, I was trying to prevent from going to jail. None of that was true. But the media ran with it. Even Greta linked to it and said that people asked me why I would not interview Larry Sinclair. This is why. And she linked to Ben Smith's article. And notice his article was published right when I was preparing to do the press conference at the National Press Club. But hey, the National Press Club, so-called beacon for freedom of the press, they were just as involved in trying to keep the story from ever being.
It's interesting. I watched the other night, I watched your entire National Press Club appearance, and in it, you detail your intersections with law enforcement exhaustively.
Yep.
Every time you've been arrested, you explain it. Every time you've done time, you explain it. So you didn't, from what I could tell, hide your past.
No, why? You can't. I mean, I've never hidden my past in.
So that would lie in a question: why the hell would anybody believe a criminal? Somebody who was a criminal. Why would anybody believe somebody who was a criminal, who allegedly did these things with Obama? Whether you're in media or not, or whether you're a regular person on the street, why would anybody believe somebody who has a criminal past making these claims? That's the question.
Regular everyday life. Why would I hide it in something like this?
So, I mean, you're the only person on this set who's had sex with Barack Obama. So I think you're,
Bro,
I don't know, expert on Obama, but you know more than most people.
Dog.
What's your assessment of him now?
Tucker Carlson is wild, man.
I think he's the same grifter that he's always
Nah,
been.
he's wild,
I think
bruh.
he's still very power
He's
hungry.
wild, bruh.
I think Obama is calling the shots in the current Biden administration more than people are willing to
What?
admit. I think Obama
Nah,
is
this man
hell-bent.
wild.
I had made a statement during that press conference that I felt that Barack Obama being elected was going to push race.
It's not
relations in
even
this country.
like for real. It's not even like I keep on saying here. It's not even being a professional interviewer. These are just shots. This man is taking subtle shots in this interview. Like, it's not even professional anymore. It's just like, bro, it's like right there. Haha, I did it. What you gonna do? Nothing.
I am absolutely positive I was
Yes, I think you've been vindicated on that.
because race relations in this country has not only gotten pushed back, but everything's about race now. Everything is about victimization now.
It's interesting though. He's obviously a race hater, very anti-white, but he had sex with a white man.
I ain't gonna lie. This is how I know this is a crock of crap. This is how I know this is a crock right now, because only, you can't pretend like, I don't care how it looks, bro. You can't act like race doesn't exist. You can't act like racism, race problems don't exist in this country. And that's the problem that continues to just be turned with a blind eye. People on that side of the spectrum think just because people on that side of the spectrum think that it's only Democratic people who care to bring up race. Bro, that's a problem in America. That's a problem outside of America. Like, bro, racism and race is a real thing in America. So why the hell wouldn't people talk about it? They supposed to just be quiet about the things that happen that are race related. Some of those things happen with the Democrats. Some problems happen that have to do with race with the Democratic side. Some problems that happen to be associated with the Republican side. It does not matter. at the end of the day who's Republican or Democratic, because that problem alone happens. Like anything that has to do with that problem specifically happens. And to act like it doesn't exist shows that, like, okay, you are like literally like trying to paint away invisibly something that's there. Like it's there. Like I don't know. Maybe some people who think like them have like a mental problem or something like that, and just disassociate themselves from that because they're white. And it's like, okay, well, all right, because maybe it's never happened to you, but there are people who are Republican that live in a sundown town. I don't know, live in a sundown town, live in a nice neighborhood. Some people who are not, some people of color who are Republican live in a nice area where it's full of nothing but napkin people, and some of those napkin people like them, some of them don't. But does it matter? Like, does it matter that they're Republican? Probably not. They could be people who love Trump all day, but at the end of the day, you can't. This ain't going nowhere. And a lot of them, whether they be Republican or Democrat, I'm sure black people who are Democratic got the same exact problems too. They can love Biden all they want to. They can love the Clintons and all those Democratic candidates all they want to, but they probably got the same exact problems as somebody who's Republican and black, like living in a nice neighborhood but being stopped by the police and basically being profiled because you live in a nice neighborhood, or you're driving a nice car, or your child goes to a nice school. Your child is at a nice school and they're being bullied by napkin people because, they're black. Can't sit up here and say it's not possible. Can't act like it doesn't exist. It does. It does. Whether you're Republican, like I said, I'm not a presidential. I don't care about politics. I care about the actual problems that are going on. The real problems that are going on that evidently people who think like these, like that person or these two people act like it doesn't exist. They think it's a tactic of Democratic people when it's not. It's a real human life issue.
And so you have to ask, like, is that real?
Oh, for him, of course. I would be willing to bet you I'm not the only white person he's ever had sex with, or male, anyone.
Yeah.
But hey, he's got what he wanted. He is in D.C. He's living the life. He's still looked upon as being the savior of the country. And sadly, people are still giving him that power. And I think it's going eventually to be to the detriment of.
Can I just ask you one last question? How did you? I'm thinking.
Aren't they still giving Trump that same power too? I believe they're still giving Trump that same power in all of his prosecution and litigation, in which he's supposed to be going to trial for crimes of injustice and things of that nature. But that's another video. I'll talk about it later.
I knew a lot of people who weren't liberal who voted for Obama purely on the race question. Mm-hmm. And they weren't all self-hating, guilty whites. They were like nice, normal people who wanted to see race relations improve. And that really was the core promise of his campaign. And a lot of people bought it. A lot of smart people bought it. And I saw why they bought it. But you didn't buy it. How did you know that?
I grew up in South Carolina in the 1960s and 70s, okay? I've been gay and knew I was gay since 6 years old. Never hid it, okay?
Yeah.
I grew up in rural South Carolina. And my first job as a kid was cropping tobacco for a family by the name of Rose that were a black family living across the road from my grandparents. So I grew up as a kid, a gay kid, in an era and area that would get you killed being gay just as quick as you could be hanging being
Oh
black.
no! Here,
So I
no,
actually-
no. The hell you aren't doing this. Black and gay struggle are the same thing. BS. No. There's victimization here, and there's also comparison here with black and gay. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. It's not even this. It's not even remotely the same. It's not the same. It's not even remotely the same, bro. It's not even remotely the same, bro. There's a difference, but there's a total core difference between black and that community. The difference is they made that community mainstream around, I want to say around the time of Obama's presidency, right? Black issues have always been a thing. Black issues will always be a thing. Things within the black community will never truly be fixed in this country. It will never truly be fixed in this country. You can't say that same thing about that community. Can't say that same thing about that community because they got all types of laws and things of that nature passed versus the black community, which there are things that are still being fought for. Ancestors have died. Slavery. I know people don't like to hear when somebody brings up slavery, but I mean it happened. Ain't nobody's there's a I believe there's a museum that has to do with slavery. Like the issue of the things that have happened since slavery are still deadpan issues that will never truly be resolved. Versus that community who have gotten rights passed and all this other stuff, like there's no you can never truly compare the two. That's all I'm saying.
Actually knew the other side of the track before I knew that I was supposed to act like I was above this or above that. I've watched it my whole life. I know when someone plays, when it comes to acting like they're one way and then in reality they're the biggest racists or bigots alive on both sides. Okay. I knew because he was saying one thing in the campaign, and then if people started to actually listen to what he was saying.
You know, before I would have probably said like he's full of shit, but I will agree on that black people can be racist just as much as white people can be racist. I used to not think that was a thing, but it's possible. I mean, if you just look at like black Americans and how they treat African people, African people, Caribbean people who come to this country, it's a claim to make. Even with black people amongst each other, you know, somebody who comes straight from the streets versus somebody who was brought up well, family, always had money and stuff like that. You know, it's a claim you could make. I'll agree on that. You know, black people can be racist just as much as white people can be racist.
Remember, there was a time when he actually told supporters to show up at a fight with a knife, get in people's face, argue with them if they didn't agree to support him, if they didn't agree to vote for him, argue with them, convince them. Come on. You don't make statements like that and tell me that you're not going to make things about race. He did.
Man, that is the one part of your story that we can say unequivocally you're telling the truth about. You saw that, and most people didn't. Larry Sinclair, I'm really grateful that you came. I wish I had interviewed you in 2008. I don't think anyone would have run the interview. But anyway, thank you.
You're welcome.
Very much.
Thank you.
Great to meet you.
You too.
All right, now that I'm finished with it, You assess for yourself. Is Larry Sinclair full of shit? Is Tucker Carlson a reacher? Is Tucker Carlson reaching like there's like reaching like he's looking for change? Is he reaching? I'll let you decide, because for me, there's a lot of things I could say on both sides of this. But for the most part of it, only time will tell how Barry is going to respond to all of this. Will he respond to all of this? I mean, it's a lot of claims in this thing, man. A lot of claims being made in this thing. And it seems as though this is not the first time that this has been spoken about, or this guy has said what he said. I mean, he even went ahead and wrote a book about it. So for him, you know, like I said, for somebody like him to say that he has never made a dime off of this, I find it hard to believe, because you made a book. So only time will tell. But that is all I have for you with this podcast. And I bid you adieu. You guys have a good night, good morning, good day. And I'm gone.